Good morning, and repeating myself there, and good afternoon to the Central and the East Coast. Glad to have everybody on with us today. Restaurant technology guys, we're going to focus on leveraging gift loyalty programs to build your business and how it works with your POS. What a relevant topic. This is a challenge for technologists in the hospitality space across the country. Our presenters today, you guys all know Jeremy and I. Good morning, Jeremy.
Good morning, Gary.
Welcome, my friend. And then we've got a very special guest here today, Mr. Eddie Ayala from Paytronix. Eddie brings a wealth of knowledge and quite a bit of tenure. Eddie, tell us about where you've been prior to Paytronix, because I know you've been in the space for a significant amount of time.
Thanks for having me. Good morning. So I've been with Paytronix. This is my 10th year. Before that, I was with a company called Opticard for 5 years. So kind of a veteran of gift and loyalty. I've helped launch about 25 different brands with their loyalty program and converted probably over 40 gift card customers in my 15 years.
Excellent. We're going to mine that knowledge base and share it with our guests today. For those of you that have multiple people watching from one screen, if you could do us a quick favor and plug into the question box how many people are watching for us real quick, and we'll jump into our presentation. Eddie, can you define gift loyalty for us as you see it from top to bottom?
Yeah, so loyalty really started with S&H green stamps many years ago, where folks would buy product, gather stamps, and redeem those stamps for items. That was kind of the big starting of it. It morphed into a paper stamp card program. We've seen these, we still see these today, where you buy 10 coffees, you get one free type thing, or sandwiches, same thing. It's evolved into email marketing, where you started emailing your guests, and then around the late 90s, Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, airlines, grocery stores, and hotels started to really look at the data and say, who are our customers? How can we leverage them? As technology got incorporated into POS systems, companies like Paytronix and others developed electronic loyalty programs that took that paper stamp card and made it electronic, tracking it at the POS system and really finding out who that guest was. And you weren't just a paper stamp. At this point, you were a person, and that you could be tracked. And then it kind of morphed into what Starbucks has done now, and that is having a gift and a loyalty card combined on one account, and now you're able to use your mobile device to really interact with the brand.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. And why integrate with your POS? Jeremy, take us through this for me.
Well, as you guys know, if you guys have been following our webinar series as well as our blog, in the restaurant business and in this hospitality business, the heartbeat of what you guys do every day, transactions all go through the point of sale. We talked about it when we talked about the history of point of sale, that it really was to track what you were doing, make sure that you weren't losing money. But again, you need to know what you're selling and who you're selling it to. And Eddie has put together with us some great anecdotes as to why knowing what's going on within your guest environment as well as what's going on within the point of sale are huge to understanding what your guests are buying, why they're buying it, when they're buying it, so that you can target market to them, no different than you would at any other, lots of people are trying to sell to you, and they, Gary and I talked about it when we did our recap of NRF. One of the biggest things that we saw in the retail space was people trying to take big data and understand what their guests wanted and needed and drive it into sales, or turn it into sales. And so I think that's what makes it so relevant, why a loyalty system without point of sale is a really disconnected solution that you can't leverage nearly as much as you would if it was connected.
Can't connect the dots. Can't connect the dots for the analytics.
Yep, very much so.
So wanted to share with you guys really quick, because this is something that's transitioning right beneath our feet. The CMO will spend more on IT than the CIO by 2017. And as an example, we see it within our business, being responsible for sales and marketing. I'm working more hand in hand. Obviously, Jeremy and I do restaurant technology guys, but internally to Custom Business Solutions, we work hand in hand in connecting the sales organization, much like a restaurant group, with marketing and the technology that's going to carry us forward, much like gift loyalty.
Yeah, very much so. We're talking every day about who are our guests and what are we doing with them, so that
Right.
so that and again, we're not a whole lot different. Part of why we do these webinars is to educate you guys, because you know what, it's relevant. It's information that we're doing in our own business, and we expect that you either are or will be doing this for your business soon.
So if you're not doing it, your competitors are. Eddie, take us through this.
Yeah, if you look at the landscape of CMOs and the stuff that they're doing, take the new CMO for McDonald's. You know, big data is a big push for her, and understanding actual members, their spending behavior, their visit behavior, tracking them, being able to identify them and be relevant, not just a redemption to her, but more of a ability to track them and segment them, and we're going to go into that. And so these people are going into this battle not with a knife, but with a gun. They're educating themselves, and they are going to be driving. Marketing is going to be driving the use of technology to build their business, because they've been empowered to build business. And this is the traditional ways of radio and TV are long gone. It's too expensive, and it's just not working.
Absolutely. Technology has leveled the playing field like no other time in our history. And so whether you're a small multi-unit with 5 locations or hundreds, if not thousands of stores, we all get to compete on the same playing field. To Eddie's point about the cost of or the investment in technology and leveraging those tools is paramount. But again, the playing field is level for all of us. So, guest engagement framework. If you can share with us, Eddie, before we go into the quadrants, high engagement, high frequency, then it gives us a better understanding to move this conversation forward.
Sure. So for the last 3 or 4 years, we've been hearing these sexy words of social and mobile, and the fact of the matter is that without a connection to the POS system, you're not able to track, and you're not able to engage the customer at the POS system. Programs that have loyalty that are tied to POS system have recognition, give customer access, empower the customer, and that drives high frequency and high engagement. Social is just not caught up yet. There's really no tie between social and the POS system at this point that is going to drive sales like a traditional or a new type of loyalty program.
So does high engagement and high frequency look the same for every brand that you guys engage with? I would guess not, but I want you to...
It doesn't. And why it doesn't, because let's just take a fast casual restaurant like yogurt, okay? Yogurt is a treat. You may go, your high frequency may be 2 times a week, where it's different from a coffee chain, where it's almost a habit and you have to have it every day. And so those yogurt places are trying to get to the level of a coffee chain where it's a habit. The only way they could do that is by doing promotions, driving through the POS system, and understanding their guests. My guest comes 2 days a week. What marketing event or campaign can I do to drive them 1, 2 more times in that week? And that's where knowing that framework really starts.
Great, and I kind of figured that different brands might look differently, and so I don't want anybody that's sitting watching this to say, oh, I got to have Starbucks type numbers where you're coming in every week, at least once, if not twice. That doesn't make sense for every brand, and so obviously, whatever your engagement and your frequency looks like is going to depend on your brand and what your program looks like and what segment you're in, all of those kind of things. So
exactly.
Right on.
Exactly.
And then what's a good defense? We talk about understanding how guests use your brand, and then we talk about engaging appropriately. So take us through this, Eddie.
Yeah. So this really begins the deep dive into understanding who your guests are. When do my guests come in? What do they buy? What part of my restaurant do they go to if you have a bar or a dining room? And who are they? What bands are they in? Are they my platinum guests? Are they my moderate guests? Are they my new guests? And understanding that is your first is really the defense where you start. And then you start to engage these people, and you've got to engage appropriately. You've got to make the promotion that you're giving them, it's got to be personable, it's got to be timely, it's got to be relevant. If you are sending out a breakfast coupon in the afternoon or some campaign that is not relevant to me, I'm not going to respond. And we'll go on to the next one, and really is understanding the consumer and knowing that your best guests are going to drive sales.
Let me pause you right there for a quick second there, Eddie. You know what, and folks, if we can focus on the illustration of one loyal guest compared to, or the value to me is 9 average guests, this becomes huge. It becomes huge. So go on, Eddie, and take us through.
Yeah, so identifying your best guest. So a platinum, which is one loyal guest here. If you lose that platinum customer, that means you have to get 9 new customers in the door and hope that one of those people become a platinum. And so it's important to identify who that guest is. It's important to understand their behavior, their visit, and their spend. And you've got to target that platinum in a relevant manner. If you see that your platinum guest has stopped coming, you need to have a lever to pull to say, hey, platinum customer, come back in, even if you have to give them some free product, because you don't want that person to leave because they're so valuable to you.
Right, back to your personal and relevant engagement. And then loyalty will pay for itself. This has been, I come from the grocery business, and here on the West Coast, I was with Vons. Vons has been doing the Vons Club Card since the early 90s. And we knew back then that the average customer spent $13. The average Vons Club customer, through tracking, through big data, which it wasn't called big data back then, through engagement, we knew that they spent $27 per visit. So fast forward a couple decades, and now, Eddie, we've got it's still paying for itself.
It is, and just to go back one thought here, Las Vegas has been doing this for years. They know who comes, who spends money, and they're marketing to you constantly, and they're doing smart marketing to you. Why? Because loyalty people spend more money, and we took of our 230 chains that use us, we took samplings from various customers, and we found this to be true, that whether it's lunch or dinner or all day parts, loyalty members spend more than non-loyalty members, period.
Yeah. And then we're going to go through the benefits of segmenting. Jeremy, you know what? I know that the challenge is outflanking other restaurant concepts. We show an example here, so take us through this example that we've got for folks that could segment and drive revenue.
Yeah, and I know Eddie has some other further examples, but we can talk about it. I mean, Google is a huge company. Amazon's a huge company. Both of them have been figuring out what you want and how you want it. Oftentimes, I mean, you tell the story that Target, the brand Target, knows when a lady is pregnant before her husband does, oftentimes, because she's buying the pregnancy test on the loyalty pieces, and that might be a little risque for those of you on the phones, but truthfully, you hear these stories of them collecting data about you and knowing more about you than you know yourself. not a day goes by that you can't browse the web and it's giving you relevant articles of stuff that you search for, whether it's clothing, shoes, whether it's on Amazon, Google, all of them are doing it. Why are restaurants not doing that and understanding what do their customers want and then offering them that relevant information, like Eddie talked about, at the right time? You know, and again, we talked earlier about kind of the moms with the young kids, you know, and it talks about the moms with the young kids. I, myself, and you guys heard, I have 3 children. You know what? My kids decide where we go to dinner 99% of the time. And because of that, the market oftentimes will go to dinner where my wife has signed up for a loyalty card and it hit her inbox at 3 in the afternoon and she doesn't really want, she's stuck at the soccer field, she sees it on her phone, sends me a text, how does XYZ brand sound for dinner? Because I'm too tired to go home and cook. So again, Eddie can talk a little bit more about how he's seen that happen, but that's just from personal experience. It happens at least once a week where I'll get a text from my wife saying, I'm tired, I didn't take anything out for dinner, how about XYZ because they just sent me a free appetizer, or they just told me, hey, come see us.
Yeah. So what's interesting is a lot of the times with data, we're able to identify, okay, you registered and you told us, yes, I have children. And so great, we can send out messages to you that are relevant, that are at the right time of the day, that are hitting that same example that Jeremy just talked about. But then we also look at data and say, wait a second, we have these people that said they didn't have kids, but yet they buy kids' food. That may be an aunt, that may be an uncle, that may be grandparents. And so we will also send them messages, relevant messages to them to say, you know, kid stuff. And what we find is that, you know, we're not just throwing something at a wall and hoping it sticks. We're actually sending messages directly to parents. We're sending messages with kids meals to people that have bought those kids meals before because they're relevant. And then you know, if you've never bought a kids meal and you say you don't have kids in your house, then guess what? We don't send you that message. It's not relevant for you. And then you're not sitting there going, oh, I got another message for something that doesn't matter to me because I don't have kids.
No, perfect. That goes back to your smart marketing statement, which is, you know what, I know the data.
Yep.
I know who's got it and what they're doing with it, and I know what to send them to have them do it again.
And unfortunately, I think people, I know for myself, I opt out of those things that aren't relevant to me. I opt out of the email programs. I opt out of those things. Even if I don't just delete the message, oftentimes I'll opt out of it, and so they won't even have an opportunity to market to me anymore because they're telling me to come in for the senior discount, and well, you know what, that doesn't work for me, and so why would I need the senior discount? I'll just opt out of that program because I just say, you know what, this brand doesn't get it.
It's supposed to go to me.
Yeah.
So you don't always need the discount. This is another great point, Eddie, because you brought it up earlier, but our guests need to understand that discounting is the fear that I've seen, and Jeremy, you may see this also, is brands tell us, we don't want to go to gift loyalty because we don't want to discount everything. So what are you seeing?
Yeah, so this is interesting. We had a customer that had been doing a fish taco promotion for years, and every year the CFO was like, great, I'm discounting 1 million of these things. And, you know, yes, my sales line goes up, but I'm discounting. I'm sick of doing this. And we said, great, let's use big data to figure this out, to say, if you've bought this thing in the past, we're not going to send you a coupon for it. We're just going to give you a message about it. So, hey, this is coming. So, and then people that may have not tried it, we will go ahead and give you some sort of a discount associated with this campaign, and then you just have other people that have reminders. And what we saw is that the numbers for just the people that just needed the information but no coupon were huge numbers. So everybody's happy. The customer's happy because they're being told about it. The ones that want the discount got the discount, and the CFO's happy because he didn't have to discount 2 million of these things. He only had to discount 100,000 of them.
Mm-hmm. No, right on. It's timely and it's relevant.
Yeah, very much so. And I think, like to Gary's point, we do get that question all the time. Well, if I do gift loyalty, that means I got a discount. And the truth is there's a lot of brands out there that are doing it really well. But Starbucks, Eddie alluded to it earlier, and they're not a Paytronix customer necessarily, but they will tell you when the new pumpkin spice latte is coming out. And you know what? They're lining up around the block for that because it's coming out, and they can only get it one time a year. This LTO, the whole idea of an LTO, the McRib, McDonald's did the McRib. it's only around for 90 days out of the year, and everybody that likes the McRib wants to go buy it. You don't get a discounted McRib. You just get a McRib because it's there, and they don't have it after it's done. And so, again, to that same point, I want to make sure that everybody understands that that's something that is not necessary. You don't have to just become a discounting brand because you've got a loyalty program implemented.
Yeah, one last thing that I want to add to that is that we've got to recognize they already like us. I'm already a customer, so I've signed up for gift loyalty, so I already have raised my hand and identified to you, I like you. So, you know, it reminds me of Sally Field and the Academy Awards a couple decades back. They like me. They really, really like me. I just need to be reminded about you. It just needs to be timely, and it just needs to be relevant. I apologize for drilling down on that, but if you're just going to adopt this and you're just going to start going into gift loyalty, it doesn't have to be eating the elephant all at once. So we see that there's challenges and pitfalls, and Eddie, if you'll speak to time being the enemy.
Yeah, and so your competitors are doing this. Restaurants are becoming smarter. They're looking at what the hotel industry, the airline industry have done and saying, why not us too? And more companies, they don't have to be 500 units and above. We're talking 3, 4, 5, 6 units are saying, wait a second, that technology is available to me too, and I'm going to use it. And so the sooner you adopt that philosophy, the better you're off.
Right. You know, kind of to your statement about don't bring a knife to a gunfight.
That's right.
It's a war out there. Dog eat dog, baby. So it starts right away. Back to the comment about eating the elephant one spoonful at a time. It begins in 4 very distinct portions. Enrollment, aggressive enrollment, getting people engaged and understanding about the program. Then secondly, the engagement. Talk to me. Get me something that's in front of me quickly after I've enrolled. And then taking that data, the segmentation that allows me to evaluate different groups that leads into a promotion. I want a promotion that's tied to my segmentation that will engage me based on my enrollment to come and visit you one more time.
And then recycling that same thing because I have the data about who you are and what you bought, then I have to go through that same cycle again because the enrollment might have just been my email address and nothing else. Yeah. But then I need to start to understand, what am I buying? What are my purchasing habits? What is my frequency? And then you start to refine it and start to turn it and turn it and turn that crank over and over again.
And at the end, you have marketing automation. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what you have. You have a system that is automated. You don't have to have a building full of people to do this. Technology will help you do these things and refine them. And so at that point, it's just automated. And marketing says, okay, here's my calendar. Here's where I'm going to put my campaigns. Here's how we're going to look at these people, and we're going to tweak it as we go. But it's automation.
Right. Forgive me, I didn't mention earlier, if you guys have any questions, go down to the bottom right-hand corner of the screen and put it into the question box because we're getting closer to that portion of the business. We know that we've always tried to keep it 30 minutes, keep it tight, keep it moving. So I apologize. I know we're pushing right up against our 30-minute timeline, but we're getting closer to the end, and these are the most powerful things of this presentation. Eddie, take us through the 5 keys to success, because these are really, really paramount in making this work for our guests.
So the question that I get from just about everybody I talk to is, what is the most successful programs? What characteristics do they have? And I've come up with this over the last 4 or 5 years. The number one thing is that you have to have an executive sponsor that is sponsoring these things. Programs that start from the top and work their way down are the most successful, period. The next key element, as we build these programs, we sit in boardrooms and we come up with different programs. the number one thing that I tell people is that you've got to keep it simple. Simple for your guests to understand, simple for your servers to understand. If your servers do not have the confidence to talk about the program in 1 or 2 sentences, the program will die and it will not be used, period. The third thing is that you have to have an easy way for people to sign up and give every single guest that walks through your door an account, whether it's a plastic card or it's mobile. You've got to do it for every single guest. The fourth thing is the registration. You've got to have the data on your guests. You may start as simple, like Jeremy said, with just an email, and then send them and say, we want a little bit more information, especially when you're talking about presence of children, dietary things. And then the last thing is you've got to get those people after they've registered to their first reward. Why? Because we know that if we get people to their first reward, it's a habit, and they start coming in again and again, and it starts that automation with this program.
Excellent. Yeah, it seems like bridging 3 to 4 would be one of the biggest challenges, and it is that old theory of give to get.
Exactly. Yep.
So we're at that point in the presentation, folks. If you want to shoot over to us any questions that you might have, we'd be happy to answer them for you.
Yeah. So one question that's come up, and we talked a little bit about it earlier, is just what does it mean to have gift and loyalty all kind of in the same solution? Eddie, can you talk a little bit about what Paytronix offers as it relates to unique value proposition related to gift and loyalty, and why you guys are what I would consider to be in the hospitality industry, at least in the restaurant segment, the top player in that space?
Yeah, so for the last couple of years, we've converted gift card programs and loyalty card programs. Why? Because people have had loyalty programs, but they said, hey, I want to be able to combine a gift card and a loyalty card onto one account and manage it easily. Starbucks has hit a home run with their program. They have a gift card and a loyalty card on one account. They've now made it mobile, as has Paytronix, and we have many customers that do that. But at the end of the day, you're able to manage your account. You're able to top off your account. You're able to give a gift to somebody from your account, connecting social media, mobile, into these types of things.
Next question that came in is related to loyalty programs and integration to point of sale. As far as Paytronix, and this is a specific question about PosiTouch, but and so I'll take that. Paytronix does integrate with PosiTouch, and they do. It's one of their tighter integrations. But can you talk just what other vendors you guys support, and what do you guys offer for people that don't have an integration to their point of sale because the point of sale isn't available? They don't offer that because they have their own solution. So
sure. So we have integrations into obviously PosiTouch, Expand, Aloha Micros, Digital Dining. We also have one into Brink Software, and a couple of POS systems that are specialized. For those folks that don't have an integrated solution or POS system, we have a Verifone system. We have many customers that will have 5 Micros locations, 10 PosiTouch, and 3 Expand, and then they'll have another 50 that are terminal based, like a Verifone. So we have kind of a suite that kind of solves it for everybody.
Great. Can you expand a little bit more on the executive sponsor? You said that's the number one, your number one key to success was getting an executive sponsor. What does that look like, or some examples of how you've seen it fail without executive sponsorship, as well as where you've seen an executive sponsor drive it through the business?
Sure. So I have a customer that had been looking to do loyalty for probably 6 years, and they kept trying to, the marketing team kept trying to come up with a program that nobody else had in the industry. And basically, they hired consultants over a 6-year period 5 or 6 of them, and they spent thousands of dollars trying to analyze and figure out what program it was. At the end of the day, they never had an executive sponsor saying, we must do this. This is something that is a strategic initiative for the company. And it died every single year. It wasn't until they got a new CEO that had a vision that said, marketing to our loyal customers and identifying who those people are and targeting them and using big data to drive our sales and build our business back to what it once was, that the program was successful. And when it turned out, the program was a very simple loyalty program, but they started with the building blocks of understanding who their guests are and what they were buying. And that's where that program was very, very successful when there was an executive sponsor of it.
Great. Any more questions?
Yeah, one last question is related to you talked about social not really catching on. What do you see, you know, the question says, what do the social channels have to do with loyal guests?
So we've had a lot of the restaurant chains that we talk to for about 3 years now have been just screaming, oh, we want to do something with social. And a lot of the times what happens is, you know, social is a great tool to communicate broad messages, but does that equate to driving people into the restaurant and spending money? And so of all the programs that we've seen, none of them have driven customers to the restaurant and driven sales. Where we're doing stuff with social is I'm able to buy a gift card, and instead of having it go through snail mail and end up at my mom's house for her birthday, I actually buy the gift card from one of the restaurant chains that's using this, and I send it to her via Facebook. So all my friends see it, all her friends see it on our news feed that her son bought her a gift card to this location, and she gets the card instantly.
That's a great point, because what I would add to that, and just so everybody's clear, social as an engagement tool is extraordinary. It's a dialogue platform. I communicate out, you communicate back. We now have open lines of communication. To Eddie's point is that the data is not captured via social media into your point of sale system that truly gives you the analytics of what's my next steps. So to tie the bow on that.
Yep. Yeah. No, and it's something that comes up all the time, and obviously one of you guys had that question, so I wanted to pose that to you.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you very much, Eddie. This is far and away some of the best conversation that we've had in our webinar series. And so, folks, just to keep you aware what we've got coming for Restaurant Technology Guys and CBS and Paytronix. Our next webinar, March 11th, will be on new tablets that are designed for the hospitality industry, kind of carrying on what we saw at NRF and actually giving you a presentation so you can see it as we touch it and share it and show it, followed by a Restaurant Technology Guys live from MuirTech on Wednesday, March 19th. You can find CBS at MuirTech in Las Vegas, March 18th to the 20th. We'll be at booth 46. Again, for all of you guys out there that want to come and visit us, we'll be at booth 46. And Paytronix is at booth 36, just a couple spots down the way. So you're welcome to come and hit up Jeremy or myself or the rest of the CBS team. Eddie will be there with his partners sharing information. Please visit our blog at restauranttechnologyguys.com. Connect with us on Twitter at Restaurant Tech Guys, and then visit us on Facebook. Separate from that, if you guys want to connect with us offline, I know that we've got a different group of attendees today, anybody from single unit to the small multi-units on up to the larger multi-units. You can reach out offline to myself, Jeremy, or Eddie. We all, and part of the good working relationship that we've had with Paytronix is our approach has been very similar. We take the approach to educate the industry on what's happening, why we're different, what makes us different, and how it can benefit you. So please, even if you're not ready to pull the trigger, but you have questions and or have blocks within your mind of how you would execute off of this information, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Thank you again for your attendance. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Jay. And wish you guys a great afternoon.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.